It's really nice to have you here in Greece.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
We'd like to have a few questions that we think everybody wants to know the answer to.
Of course.
So, what led you to be part of the hi-fi high-end audio business in the first place?
Well, I've always been an audiophile all my life. And when I was in the internet industry, and at the point in time when I retired from the industry, I wanted a pair of speakers. I didn't want any pair of speakers. I wanted a pair of Genesis ones. So I started building a home for it. I put in the foundation. I specified a room that was going to be 12 meters wide by 18 meters long, large enough for the speaker. Then I went to my dealer to buy a pair, and he said, "I'm sorry, they went bankrupt." So now I've got 100 acres of land in Australia. I was starting the foundation. I was starting to build a house for it, and no loudspeaker. So he suggested that I go and meet up with the founder of this company, Dell. And I met up with him, and I wanted him to make me one special pair, the last pair. But he convinced me that it was cheaper to buy the company than to buy a pair of speakers. But he didn't tell me that it was going to cost me a lot of money to keep the company running. So basically it boils down to I wanted the speaker.
So it all became out of your love for this sport, I guess.
It is not my love for the speaker, you have to understand. It is my love for music.
For music, yes.
I want music, and I thought that the best system to reproduce that music was with that Genesis one speaker.
That's great. So you got to buy the company that builds the best speaker according to you.
Yes.
Where is your company based now?
It's based in Seattle. One of the reasons was that Seattle is a good place for manufacturing. There's a lot of high-tech industry there. There's a lot of skills. A couple of large professional audio companies are already based there. And so 4 years ago, I moved my family to Seattle and started running the company myself.
Is it a nice place to live too?
I love it. It is a beautiful place.
Do you have manufacturing facilities there, everything you need, or do you have to outsource?
Right now, I do not outsource anything. I buy components from all over the world. I assemble everything in Seattle. And right now, I design everything myself as well. So everything is designed in Seattle. Everything is built in Seattle.
So your drivers are entirely your designs and your implementation. No the speaker.
The drivers are Genesis design. When I did not buy the company. I bought the intellectual rights to the company. I started a new company, and I bought the intellectual property from the bank, which foreclosed on the old Genesis. So the driver design was designed. A lot of them was designed by the old Genesis. I have improved them along the way with new materials, new manufacturing, and we still continue to make them.
What is your preferred material for driver design and then for cabinet design also?
Difficult to say. My preferred material right now is pure metal.
Great.
The reason is this. When you've got a pure metal object, a can or anything, they only have one resonant frequency. And that one resonant frequency is very, very easy to calculate. The popular term for it is the oil can resonance.
Okay.
And it's like you take an oil can, you bang it, there's only one sound.
Yes.
Different size cans have got different size sounds, different frequencies of sound. So all metal drivers, if they are made pure enough, has got only one resonant frequency. As long as you do not excite that one resonant frequency, it is a pure piston. So there is no distortion at any other frequency that you have to take care of. A lot of problems with other materials I have found is that they try to damp the distortion all the way down, but there's still a tiny bit of distortion. Perhaps the distortion is too low to measure, but you can hear it. Paper cones have paper sound. Plastic cones have plastic sound. Metal cones have a metallic sound if you excite the oil can resonance. We just have to make sure we never excite the oil can resonance. And it goes back into everything. the baskets are always made of metal.
Yes.
So there is a resonance. The reason we make baskets of certain size or certain material is so that that basket resonance is also not affected. And if you look at the 5.3, a lot of dealers and reviewers have said that that's a cheap mid-range. But I dare you to hear the distortion in that mid-range. There's no distortion. Because I use a cheap mid-range because the basket has got such a low resonant frequency that it's never ever excited by the mid-range. If I use an expensive mid-range, it will have a cast aluminum basket which has got a high resonant frequency, which would be affected by the mid-range.
So this is pressed steel basket?
It's a pressed steel basket. Pressed steel baskets have got low resonant frequencies. Cast steel baskets have a high resonant frequency. For a woofer, you want to use cast because the woofer you want the resonant frequency to be high. For a mid-range, you want it to be pressed because you want the resonant frequency to be low. It's very simple. Yes. You don't fight with the laws of physics. You make use of the laws of physics and you work around it.
And which metal do you employ? Is it?
I use a pure titanium on the mid-range, and I use a pure aluminum on the rest.
Right. So these are relatively easy to source them. You don't know?
You go try sourcing a titanium mid-range that size. So no other loudspeaker has got titanium mid-range that size.
No,
titanium is used purely for 1-inch tweeters.
It's pure titanium.
It's pure titanium. It's not a titanium alloy. It is not a titanium epoxy. It is not a titanium paint. A lot of drivers that say that they are titanium coated is titanium dioxide. What's titanium dioxide? Paint.
And how about cabinets and baffles? Which material do you employ there?
I employ the right material for the right purpose. The Genesis 2.2, which you see over there, in the other room, the mid-range and tweeter baffle is made of 1.5 inches of acrylic. Solid cast, high density, or they call it high molecular weight acrylic. These are made of MDF. But every single part has got different resonant frequency. The resonant frequency is calculated and designed so that there will be no resonance of that area in that part of the cabinet. If you want the mid-range to be accurate, the resonance has to be either higher or lower than where the resonance is. And here's something interesting for you Greeks. The internal cavity has got classic Greek proportions.
Really?
We went to visit the Parthenon 2 days ago.
You studied stuff.
And I was saying that it is absolutely the perfect place to bring me because the classic Greek proportions, if you go into the Parthenon, there are no echoes. There are no standing waves. And when you talk, you sound extremely natural. The reason is that the ancient Greeks have figured out acoustic resonance in cavities better than most architects do these days. Otherwise, they won't build rooms that resonate.
So it's an honor for us that you say so, and that you study this stuff, and that you are inspired by
Yes, yes.